Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's The Con Guy, Comic-Con Prep Show.
Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of The Con Guy. It is our Con Guy Ultimate WonderCon Power Ranger panel. You know, we know that cancellation of WonderCon was a huge disappointment for everybody, including us here at The Con Guy, which is why we have the Con Guy show bringing you this Ultimate Power Rangers panel, which we would normally be doing at WonderCon. And it is straight into your living rooms, onto your phones and your computer screens. My name is Ben Kleiwer. I will be your own personal Zordon tonight. And in true convention fashion, people have been, quote unquote, standing in line digitally on our YouTube link chat room since I think before noon today. So it has been truly quite an experience for them, I'm sure. I hope you put up tents and sleeping bags in your living rooms for that. But without further ado, I'm not the one that you're here for. Let's introduce some Power Rangers. My first guests tonight start as Mejia, the Yellow Ranger, on Power Rangers Megaforce and Super Megaforce, the 20th anniversary seasons of the Power Rangers series. This will be my third time interviewing her, and she is a delight. Please welcome Ciara Hanna.
Hi.
Hi. Joining Ciara tonight is her castmate from the Super Megaforce season. You know him as Orion the Silver Ranger. I know him as one of my favorite people on the face of the planet. Please welcome Cameron Jebo. And you can say hi after I introduce you guys.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, you're on.
Love you, Cameron.
Our next guest on the panel played Kendal Morgan, lead scientist of the Amber Beach Dinosaur Museum, eventually becoming the Purple Ranger in Power Rangers Dino Charge and Super Dino Charge. This is my first time meeting her tonight, and the pleasure is all mine. Please welcome Claire Blackwelder.
Hello.
Joining Claire is her Dino Charge teammate. You'll recognize him as Tyler Navarro, aka the Red Ranger, and his level of energy has me convinced that he has a constant connection to the Morphin Grid. Please welcome one of the most joyous people I've ever met, Mejia.
Hello!
And we have the pleasure of having not one, but two Rangers from the current season of Power Rangers Beast Morphers on our panel tonight. You've seen her as Zoe, a Grid Battle Force cadet washout turned laundry staff whose bravery leads her to become the Yellow Ranger. Please welcome Jacquelyn Sosnowski.
Hello.
And last but not least, who was it that helped Zoe on her way to becoming the Yellow Ranger? You guessed it, it's child prodigy, MorphX developer, and head of tech at Grid Battle Force, Nate Silva, who goes on to become the Gold Ranger. Please welcome Abraham Rodriguez.
Hello, friends! Hello!
Oh my gosh, we have 6 Rangers here tonight.
That's a whole team.
Everybody?
Well, not a whole Dino Charge team, but a normal
No,
team.
but it's a whole team, including a 6th Ranger.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah.
You know, there you go. What more can you ask for? I'm just Alpha 5 over here. Aye. But obviously, we're in quarantine tonight, or we're safer at home. Quarantine's a bit of a strong word, but we're safer at home. Where is everybody coming to us from tonight? Ciara, where are you coming from?
I am in Riverside, California, baby. SoCal. Woo!
All right.
As I like to think.
Cameron, where are you?
Oh, I'm in my garage.
Nice.
There's a great Weezer song called "In the Garage." Claire, you might be coming. I'm not. Wait, say that again.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. No, I think Cameron was just yapping.
Where are you?
Yeah, very cool. I'm in Boise, Idaho, as is evidenced by the stirrups and spurs on the wall behind me.
There you go. Go Broncos.
Ooh, no, Vandals, University of Idaho.
Oh, Vandals. Oh, okay. Yes, Boise.
Not Boise State,
Yes,
though.
you're not at Boise State. You're. Yes. U of I, right? Did they call it U of I?
Yeah, Idaho.
All right.
Yeah.
Brennan, where are you coming from?
Amber Beach is a lie. I am in Southern California. I'm like, actually, 20 minutes from Ciara?
Hi.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah,
So
if this wasn't
15 minutes.
quarantine, we could have done this like together from one TV or computer, but Alas,
6 feet apart, though, right?
true. I said if.
I don't
If
know
this
where you-
wasn't.
I don't trust you.
And the
I'm
news
not
Rangers. Jax, where are you coming from tonight?
I am in the sunny California, although it has been so cloudy. So I guess cloudy California.
It's warm enough today, though.
Yeah.
Abraham, are you in California as well?
I'm in good old Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh,
Hometown.
a little bit south of Claire, I guess, right? Kind of southwestish.
No idea where that is on the map.
This isn't a geography lesson. My first question goes to Ciara. You did like a hair tutorial this afternoon. Is that right? Something on. Now let's see that hair. And Cameron, our good friend, he used to have this beautiful feathered hair. He's buzzed it all off. But Ryan, Ciara's hair looks kind of familiar. Can you pull that first picture up for me, Ryan?
I'm terrified.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god.
I don't know if we can you see it on our end?
You're making me really terrified what you're gonna pull up.
I've got a very
Curious now.
I've quarantine caved, and I decided to do the whole I do makeup and hair now, and so I did it, and I have.
There you go.
And here I am.
I do
Are you on
handstands, and that's
TikTok?
kind of normal.
That's everything I
Yeah.
never thought I would in the last 2 months.
I did love Brennan's pitch for the for the show tonight, doing a full handstand on his Instagram story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Ryan,
it kind of.
I don't know. We can't tell from our end. Do you have that picture pulled up yet? Right now. This would have worked better with better timing. I apologize, everybody.
That's okay.
If
So how's
someone
everyone
don't
doing?
know, I'm okay with it.
Good. How are you, Brennan?
I'm well. I did my handstands earlier today, and I have it planned for tomorrow morning. Oh, look, Cameron's
There it
hair.
is. There's the picture.
Ah,
That's what looked familiar.
Oh my
I
Oh
think
my
who wore it
god.
better?
Yeah.
Who
He was
wore
like-
it better?
He was Brad Pitt and Troy every day on set. It was so amazing.
That is amazing.
Thank
Now
you.
Cameron, now you're like in Fight Club. You pull off all the best hits.
Oh, man,
Now,
the Brad Pitt analogies are great.
I think something fun that we can talk about tonight, since this is a 3-series crossover cast tonight, is the concept of these crossover episodes. Ciara and Cameron, you kind of started off with the 20th anniversary special with the Ultimate Ranger battle there, with all the teams coming together. Ryan, are you by any chance ready with that second picture?
Hey.
There we go. The 20th anniversary had representation of all the past Power Rangers teams coming together to take down an army of X-Borgs. We're 3 years out from the Power Rangers 30th anniversary special. We already have some team-ups coming up, but what kind of team-ups would you guys like to see in 3 years coming up for that 30th anniversary special? And would you guys like to be a part of it?
Are you guys
Yeah.
Take me back to New Zealand any day.
Yes.
Say
ASAP.
Any day.
It's
I
the
forgot
location.
to go back
Also,
for one, so I love it.
Let's go.
True,
Let's all
amazing.
go. All 6 of us.
yes. When I went back for Ninja Steel, that was I loved being there, but my favorite part was one, being New Zealand, also seeing it's the entire same cast and crew, like majority of it. So like you see all these people you haven't seen in so many years, like the same hair, the same makeup, like people you spent your entire year with. And that was probably the
Mhm.
best part of it. So I would go back just to see Kevin and Kimmy Hayden.
Oh,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So what happens in the makeup and hair room? I love it.
yeah.
So much goes down in there. Everyone knows.
So you're the answer.
Did you guys, can you guys talk a little bit about being on set? We're there, because we've got a great opportunity here. We have a pair from 3 different seasons. Did you guys have any kind of traditions on set, or pranks, jokes, just fun stuff that you guys would do to because you're young people, you're out in New Zealand, you're away from home, you got to bond and have have games and jokes and all that kind of stuff.
Our season had the tradition where Cameron had his own apartment instead of our place every single night.
Yeah, Dobby had that too.
On the couch. And then Alex Hart and Samurai staying in a bunk in the back behind my room. It was a weird house.
It was awesome. It was like
Wait, just for
I loved every second. I wish I embraced it more now, but I was like, it was such a cute little scenario.
was Alex there just for like a team up thing, or like he was there
came
visiting
for
for
like
a long
a cameo on one of the episodes. I forgot which one, and then he ended up staying. And what, Cameron? Did he stay for like camera reasons? He was trying to like do.
Yeah, he was shadowing the directors for.
Oh, cool.
For probably a month or two.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Yeah, he stayed for a while, and the brand let him stay and shadow the directors. So
yeah, we gave him a little bunk in the back of our little sunroom that we had, and
right on.
Next to each
They're
other.
really cool about shadowing.
Good morning.
They're really cool about that.
Yeah.
what?
I did that for like the first season. They let me do a little like I was technically finishing my senior year of college when I filmed, and I only had like one class left, and so I fought my the dean of my school so hard to like have her let me do this, but I counted Power Rangers as an internship. But I would come to set on the days that I wasn't called. I would go to post-production. I would go into like the production office, and I would interview people, and I would like talk to the director, the DP, like everyone. And I just like asked a million questions and wrote a bunch of journal entries and essays and sent them in on like a weekly basis. And it was so cool. I learned so much more than I ever would have, but they were so understanding and like really welcoming of that. They're really cool about that on that show.
That is so cool.
You wouldn't be the first unpaid intern in the Power Rangers universe.
What was that?
I said you wouldn't be the first unpaid intern in the Power Rangers.
Shots fired.
That is brilliant, though. That's a brilliant way to figure that out.
It was super cool. I mean, like, really have no idea to this day how I was able to swing that, but like, it was great. I didn't get to walk because I was filming like at graduation, but it was so cool. I learned a lot.
Claire, it's weird hearing you say all of this stuff because I literally like after it happened, I feel like life just kept going so fast that it like fell out of my brain. But the moment you say it, it's like immediately I remember. I was like, oh yeah, you did do that.
I literally feel like I was in fast motion. I can't grasp anything, but when you mention little memories,
it's like a picture just like blooms in my mind of like, you're right, that did happen. This happened. They were nice about that. Oh, yeah, you did do that. Like I remember you didn't walk because I remember that whole emotion. Like it was just like on set we were trying to like, because like it's a big deal. So
the crazy thing is looking back at pictures and videos. Like Abraham and I were literally just talking about how this one day him and I, like, because we always were craving sweets and stuff, like what was new, the AT, like the carrot cakes, like that gave us life. Like, we would sprint.
No, how about Feijoas?
Carrot cake. We didn't get hot breakfast.
How about Feijoas? I ate like 8 Feijoas a day.
Yes.
Oh, Feijoas, yes.
But me and Abraham, one day we literally Uber Eats like a milkshake from like who even knows where, and we kept checking.
We were sharing it.
Who did we have? Like, we were like, Anita, can you go check if our Uber Eats is here? She's like, what?
We were filming.
So jealous you guys did Power Rangers at this time of age because we literally didn't have like.
Oh yeah, we didn't have that.
We literally we literally had to like ask our driver like, can you please take us to the sushi place down the street? Like, please, me and Christine would always like bribe.
Sometimes we would have our driver like drop us off. Remember, we would get like coffee jacks, or we would. Get boba sometimes. Like
when we were changing units, we were like, "Wait, please, let us go stop and run into like coffee club and grab some
literally
coffee."
Stopped at like a stoplight, and me and Jax jumped out of the van. I mean, we probably shouldn't be saying this, like we can't do that. But we jumped like out of the van, like ran in the street, down the street to order the coffee. And by the time like the van came up to the street, we're like already done and just jumped back in and then went home. But we did that pretty often.
Me and Cameron are shaking her face. We're so upset.
Interesting. That's an interesting point to bring up because, Cameron and Ciara, you guys did this 6 and 7 years ago?
13, where none of that existed.
Yeah. And Brennan and Claire, you guys were what, 5, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2015, 2016.
Yeah, so no Uber Eats, no Postmates.
We had 1 gigabyte of data a month for the first couple months, and then they gave us 2 gigabytes. And that's what we got to use for like the beginning of social media. And like I got an Instagram like a couple weeks before, and Yoshi was the one who really pushed me to make social media a thing, because I was like, no, this is pointless. And then
that's so crazy compared to how much like our cast posted on social media, obviously because we had it, but like I can't imagine like being in that time and not have posted everything that we did.
Well, I think it has to do with the different like productions and everything. Like Hasbro and like the new like Chip and all that are super into that. We weren't allowed to do anything. Like I got in trouble. I was the one who always got
Neither were we, but we kind of.
We were not allowed at all. I always
for the first season, we really like were like we left our phones in our trailers, but then after that, we started like slowly sneaking it in until they like eventually didn't say anything anymore. But yeah.
Do you remember when I filmed the season finale on my phone when we read it and then I got in trouble?
They made her delete it off of her phone.
What?
Really?
So we were doing a read-through. Like we were doing the read-through of our last scene of season 1 where we all like take a selfie in the scene. So I was like, oh my God.
It was just a read-through.
Yeah. And I was like, how perfect. I'll actually use my phone for the selfie so that we have the memory. And I got in so much trouble. I was like,
they don't trust you.
Immediately after too.
They didn't even ask to look at my phone. I freaked out and I deleted it from my recently deleteds too. And she was like, literally, I think it was I forget who it was, but she was just like, Jacqueline, like just don't do that again. And I was like, wait, that's it? That's it? Like I didn't have to delete it.
Yeah, you learn like the limits the longer you're on set. Like you start getting away with more and more. Like even with like lines, because they were very like you must say it exactly. And occasionally in the beginning I did, and then I'd start kind of like asking like, hey, is it okay if I change this to this? And then they'd be like, yeah, that's fine, as long as it's like.
Okay, that's
but
fair.
It wouldn't happen unless I like earned their trust first by doing it their way, and then little by little I got to like mix it up, but still within their parameters.
Who was your script supervisor, Brennan?
Do you remember their name, Claire?
It was different on first and second. Second, I think, was and
what was it?
Awanui, and then first.
We have her too.
Yeah. First, second unit, and then first unit was. No,
I'm so bad with names.
Kelsey was first.
Kelsey.
Yes, Kelsey, and then out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but like when Chip was on set, I would ask him because just the way the sentences flowed sometimes just felt so like backwards. Like the names would be first, and normally I'd want to say them at the end or whatever. And so I would just like.
Written by somebody whose native tongue wasn't English.
My favorite thing about all of us together right now is we've all been on the same sets, on the same lot. We've had the same people working with each other. Like it's so cool that we're all from different generations that we all work the same exact. Like, those people have seen so many people go in and out, and we've all been close, and we all have a relationship with those people, which I find so amazing.
And it's crazy we're like the last ones to be using those studios because they're moving after like our season now.
They said that in our season too, so
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Simon posted something on Instagram that it was like they were moving from Studio West, so we're like the last one to use that studio.
I don't
still
know.
New Zealand, right?
The same exact thing with our season, and then they stayed there. So we'll find out.
We'll see.
Now, really quick, guys, I want to interject here.
I
want to acknowledge we've got about 200 people watching this right now live. And for those of you guys that are watching, I just want to say thank you. Welcome.
Cool.
Don't forget to hit that like button because that'll pump up our action here on YouTube as well. So please hit that like button. I want to present another question to you guys. You all are American kids who went out to New Zealand to shoot this show. How long were you guys on set? On average, between when you got to come home, and what were the adjustments you had to make to being in a completely different country on a different side of the planet?
Who wants to go first?
You.
I was talking about this today because I think I was about to do this, so maybe it in my mind. It was like 16-hour days, 6 days a week. We had like 1 day off to do laundry. So I didn't really get to adventure too much around New Zealand. And on those days, you just want to decompress because it's so much. And so to me, that was my first experience being away from, because I'm from Southern California, which is like near LA. So I was doing the LA thing and being near my family. So being away from my family for the first time was I look at pictures of me in the first season I look so stressed out knowing myself now. I look like I was grinding my teeth a lot. I was feeling weird. And then second season, I'm a completely different person. But adjusting away from your family is a totally different experience that you never can explain, and you don't realize it until you're actually going through it. And especially like when me and Cameron did it, it was like we didn't have the cell phone, we didn't have FaceTime, we didn't have this, we didn't have that. I literally had Skype. My parents would do every so often, and that was or emails.
We had like a brick phone. Remember?
Yeah, that we had to use only for emergencies or to each other.
Yep.
I forgot they literally gave us a phone so we can talk with them, but that was it. And then for emergencies, talk to someone else, but we got charged for that. And it was just it's so funny knowing technology now and how it was then. That's why I was laughing at the Uber Eats. I'm like, we had taxis, we had to hail like, hey, taxi, like in the old school, like New York days. Like
oh my
gosh, I didn't even think about that.
We just got Uber. Uber was there like right when we got there. So we kind of like, we didn't get Uber Eats, but we could get rides. I rented a car while I was there.
So many places because like, oh, I can't find an Uber, a taxi. I was walking.
That's insane.
We had Lime scooters.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that we even had Lime scooters. So in the city, we would Lime to each other's.
No wonder I was depressed.
Oh my gosh.
I got lucky, but I lived in a building that had a really awesome little bistro on the first floor, and I became really good friends with the owner. And he had like a taxi guy's personal number, and so if I would just walk down and get a coffee, and he's like, Cameron, where do you want to go today? I want to go to K Street, or I want to go up to Ponsonby or something, and he's like, okay, I call him for you. And seriously, like 5 minutes later, this taxi would be there. But that's how it was. Like you had to really dive deeper into the community in Auckland to get around. You couldn't rely on some of the things that we get to do just like on a daily basis.
I had like taxi cards. I had different numbers in my phone. I remember in our old little New Zealand phone saved just by taxi drivers because I can call them up and come to our house. Like it's such an interesting time. It doesn't seem that long ago, but it's so weird how technology can.
Yeah.
It just goes.
So contrasting that, Jax, Abraham, what is it like now adjusting to your lives from here in the States going back to New Zealand? And have you guys finished filming season 2? Is that a question I can ask?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Okay, so you're back home after shooting season 2. What were some of the big adjustments you guys had to make over the 2 seasons shooting there? Abraham, you go first.
Like we filmed like 14 to 16 hour hours a day. And we only had 1 day off. So for me, that was like a huge thing because every other acting project I've done before, I only filmed for like a few days or like a few days at a time. It was never like for 9 months straight, every single day, 6 days a week, without any breaks. I mean, we only had a 3-week hiatus in between seasons. But yeah, other than that, I think that was the hardest thing to adjust to. And like we'd finish filming at like, I don't know, like 7, 8 p.m. And then we'd all get in the van. And by the time everybody got dropped off, we wouldn't get home until like, I don't know, probably around 9 or something. But then you're like so exhausted from filming 14 hours. Then you have to go home and memorize your lines. But also like, you don't just want to go to sleep to do it all over again. Like you want some time to yourself or like to do something like watch Netflix or something. So we wouldn't end up going to sleep until like way later. And most of the time we weren't getting like, I don't know, like maybe 5 hours of sleep. So we were running on like 5 hours of sleep for the whole entire time that we were there. So we were just like zombies to some, I don't know. It was a lot. So working so hard for so long was definitely a huge challenge, but I'm also so thankful for that because now coming off of a show that you work so much like this, like everything else is going to be like so much easier.
And cake for you after this.
Say that again.
Everything's gonna be a piece of cake after this. Trust me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we always had. Like we did like the hardest of the hardest now. So like everything else that we like film now is just gonna be a breeze compared to that. But yeah, that was like a big adjustment. And then also like when we first got there, it was just so crazy that like you drive on the opposite side of the street and like the steering wheel is on the other side. Like that was like a little like crazy thing to get used to. But yeah, that's kind of it.
Cameron had a lot of questions to keep raising his hand.
Wait, who was raising their hand?
Cameron.
Oh, Cam, did you have a question?
Hold on, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, my screen was like, you're muted. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Anyways, My question was, so our cast went through the same thing. Obviously, most casts of this show do. We film very long days and we work very hard, but we still want to be sane, normal human beings. And our big sort of like vice or release was bowling. We found
bowling.
I forgot we were bowling a lot.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. We only did that twice for someone's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sky Center or whatever it was called.
Yeah, Sky
That's
City,
how we
right?
went to.
Yeah.
We would be there sometimes 3 nights a week.
Oh wow.
Oh.
And
After filming?
oh yeah, we would sometimes
The boys just went straight. The girls.
Oh
didn't.
my gosh. We couldn't even work out. Like that was something that like everyone's like, we need to work out. And like we only worked out for like the first month that we were there, and then after that,
Abe,
worked
you
out.
have to work out during
the only thing
filming.
the cast did. It was
I
infuriating.
cannot.
No.
Claire,
See, the thing was, did you guys have 9 rounds when you were there?
do we have what?
9 rounds, this little workout place. So there's this like 30-minute HIIT workout facility, and I discovered
I'm gonna work.
and I would go there, I would get dropped off
my God.
at the 9 rounds, and I'd be like, okay, 30 minutes, let's just go. And I became such good friends with the 9 rounds people. And I literally would go. Yeah,
No,
I
there
did that
was-
once with
like, was
Jackie.
Googling
Never
fitness.
again.
I did that.
And I would
We
do that
just
before
worked out.
work or after, but like, oh my God, that was the hardest thing. And I was dead. Like, I'd be crying during the workout. I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay. And I was the only one there. And it was just me doing the circuits all by myself. I was like, I can do this. I can do
Right.
this.
All right, we gotta. Sorry to cut in here, but we got some questions from the chat that I want to start. What? Yeah, I know. I gotta corral you guys in.
Brennan,
The
let's give you our routine.
I know.
mighty Morphin. Anyway, we got a question from the chat. Did anybody? I believe this was from Michael. Did anybody take home any items from the set,
My bra.
either legally
Yes.
or illegally?
I got to keep my lab coat. That was like
Yeah, I
my
got to keep my jacket.
That's cool.
yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Gifted your silver jacket like later in life, though, right?
Yeah.
No, I still haven't gotten my silver
I
jacket.
thought you got it later, though.
No. Melissa.
We got-
I mean, Azim told me he was gonna get your. I don't know. I just shouldn't say anything. Whatever. Never mind.
We
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
pick 10 wardrobe pieces we wanted to keep.
Yeah,
Same.
we got to do that too.
Yeah,
I'm
and our gems.
sad because I'm sorry to get really upset right now, but I took home the ring that I wore on every single episode. And I wore it for years. I loved it. It's like a beautiful piece of jewelry, and I was really happy that I got to keep it. And then this past January, all my jewelry got stolen out of my car, including that. So I don't have it anymore. I don't have my greenstone necklace I got from New Zealand also got stolen, so I'm very sad. But I did
Oh,
have
I'm
that
so
ring
sorry.
for years.
I'd be so.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'd be
Very
so
sad.
sad.
Very sad. Just
So
happy.
All right.
nobody got to keep any helmets or anything, right?
No.
No,
They
I
would
Dino
always
Charger.
tell us how
One Dino
expensive
Charger.
they were.
Yeah.
These are expensive.
not a lot of people.
The
did.
one Dino Charger I got, like I went to a friend's, my friend had a son who was like a fan of Power Rangers. He's like, hey, can you come to his birthday? And I was like, sure. So I went and I brought a Dino Charger to take a picture with him. And it was the one I was given from set. And I gave it to the kid, like to hold, like, do you want to take a picture with it? And so he took a picture, but then he walked off with the Dino Charger. And like, it was his birthday and I didn't feel like I could like take it back. So he now has the Dino Charger. But
That's cool, though. He, like, I don't even know that he has the Dino Charger.
he does, and I don't. I just have one from Japan now, from the prop. So
Oh,
Alright.
wow. All right. The next question is from Jeff. Who would win in a fight? The Spartans from 300 or the Power Rangers?
that's not even a
All right,
question. Next,
Spartans.
Come on now. Power Rangers.
Spartans
Of course.
every day.
That's the three. The Power Rangers have different powers, though, especially like Super.
we would win.
We
I
have
guess
Zord.
We would all win.
Combined,
We would
every
win.
Power Ranger from every season.
We would win.
Yeah.
We have Super
Um,
Morphers, we have Dino Charge, we have Beast Morphers. I think we might win against the 300, to be honest.
I
They
agree.
have Gerard Butler's abs.
Right.
Do you
we
even
have
morph, bro?
Brennan.
Like, come on.
We've got Brennan.
That's right.
Brett is gonna come
I
on
guess-
a handstand with armor and
Yeah, it's very effective in
Right.
fights.
We
Yeah.
have
And
Troy and
balancing
Fight
is
Club, I
actually the
guess,
number
too,
one
so.
martial art.
I guess we're a cross decision on that one. So
All right, we've got a super comment. It could also be called a super mega comment, I guess. And it is asking.
It could be a
Claire
Dino
and
super
Brennan,
comment.
Dino super comment. It's asking Claire and Brennan, do you think you'll come to UK Con?
Oh,
I guess that's a little bit. It depends on what the state of the planet
The
is
world.
at that point.
Yeah. We would love to.
It'd be fantastic. I love the UK.
Yeah.
Great.
I've never been. Have you been?
Yeah, I studied right before we started filming.
Oh, yes, I knew this.
Shakespeare in Oxford, so
Yes.
totally.
See, again, memories blossoming back as you tell them again.
Fresh off of Shakespeare, I walk on the Power Ranger set. I was like, ooh.
Yes.
Different.
I've never been, but I would like to go.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's
here's a really fun one. I believe this is Jerusalem Garcia said this. What are the chances we can get a coordinated "It's Morphin Time" from everybody?
We could try.
Try.
Okay.
1 in 500. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, let's try this. I'll count you guys down, and hopefully there's not too much internet delay in our connections. But are you guys ready? I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and then you go, "It's Morphin Time." Is everybody ready?
Let's do it.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
It's Morphin time! I'd say that was pretty close.
It was pretty close. For being connected across the entire western half of the United States, I think we did pretty good. Now, I have something I want to bring up really quick because it involves 4 of you out of this chat. Coming up, we're going to have a Dino Charge Beast Morphers crossover. Now, this is something you guys can talk about, right?
Yes.
Depending on the question, yes.
Depending on the question. So my question is, what happens? Just kidding.
I can answer that in a couple months.
Page 1, interior shot.
And for me,
I have the script right here. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, did you record it on your phone, Jax? Now, as I said before, I grew up on the original Power Rangers back in 1993, which means I'm 87 years old. And
you look great.
Oh, thank you very much. I believe it's picture number 4, Ryan, if you have that. This does my Power Ranger loving heart good to see this, but Austin St. John is reprising his role as the original red Tyrannosaurus Power Ranger in this episode.
Oh my God, he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Which I'm super stoked about. And to admit, I have not really watched any Power Rangers since the early to mid 90s, and I watched so much of you guys to prepare for this panel.
Sorry.
Again, everything's on Netflix. But I did love Cameron's wig. But I'm super stoked. And unfortunately, season 2 is not on. Like, it's running right now, so it's not on Netflix. So I won't. I guess I could probably tune into Nickelodeon and watch this. But I'm super stoked.
Right. Hulu, right? No.
For those of you who were on set with Austin St. John, what is an experience like working in this franchise that is nearly 30 years old and having one of the original actors from the American series come back? And I guess I could pose that question to Cameron and Ciara as well, because Jason David Frank came back for the 20th anniversary special as well. Jax, you start us off.
It was mind-blowing, that's for sure. I think it was just like having him on the set and everybody from Dino Charge there as well. I mean, you just felt powerful because it was like insane that he was there and we were all there together. But he was so awesome. He shared so many cool stories and he was just very chill. He hung out with us even after filming. Like he was just kind of like one of the buds. So it was really awesome.
I actually didn't know who he was at first.
That was so funny.
Oh, it's so bad. Funny. It's like to this day, it's probably like my most embarrassing like moment in like my career. But we had this like huge dinner for all of the returning cast, and that was like the first time that I met like Brennan and like Yoshi, and so we all went to this dinner and I went around the table and said hi to everyone, and he was sitting next to one of the cast drivers. So I like introduced myself to the cast driver and I was like, hi, like nice to meet you. Like I'm Abraham, and she told me her name, and I was like, I didn't know like who was a returning cast and like who was like, I don't know, part of the crew.
Really buff, good looking, and shaved.
She told me, she's like, oh, I'm one of the cast drivers. And I was like, oh, like, no, because I asked like, oh, like what season or whatever. And then she said, oh, I'm not an actor, I'm one of the cast drivers. And I was like, oh, and Austin was sitting right next to her. So I assumed that he was also like one of the drivers. Like, I don't know, like someone there helping the returning cast. So I said, hi, like I'm Abraham, nice to meet you. And then he said his name. And I literally to him said, and you are, and he says, I'm the original Red. And immediately I was like, oh my God, like I'm Gold, like so nice to meet you. Like, and I walked back to the table and I sat next to Colby and I was like, I think he hates me. Like that was my first impression, first time meeting him. Now I'm gonna have to film with him after that interaction.
Did you not know he was coming? Like, did they not tell you guys? I knew
he was coming, but I didn't know what he looked like. I had no idea what he looked like. I didn't watch the original one, so I was like, I don't know. I didn't recognize him, which is really, really bad. But he was great to work with. Such a great guy. He was so much fun. We went on hikes with him on our days off. Like he came out to dinner with us. Like he was, he really was just a part of our whole little gang.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude. I didn't know who he was either at first. I was walking out of the offices at Studio West, and this dude shouts at us from the second floor. I don't remember what he said. It was something like, "What's up, jerks?" or something like, just like screaming at us from the top. And I just like remember looking back like, why would they yell at us? Like, who's that? And like walked away. And Azim like ran up to me later and he was like, dude, you don't know who that is? That is JDF.
Come on, JDF.
He's like, that is JDF. And I'm like, what's a JDF? And he's like, that's Jason David Frank. He's the original Green Ranger. Like,
I like your Azim impression.
Azim knows everything about everything. I love it.
Yeah, Azim studies.
He does. I guess our experience was they don't tell you who's coming. No. They don't trust us, so I wouldn't either. And we had to find out as they're coming in, literally like trying to figure out who's coming. And we had to look up online on these weird blogs, on whatever I could find on like my little weird laptop at the time. Like who's coming? Who do they think are coming? Everyone had there's a big fiasco because everyone's like, well, I didn't get invited. It was a big fiasco their season for some reason that they didn't get.
Oh yeah.
And then they got an invite, but then they got declined to invite. There was so much fiasco their season, but everything.
Well, they were trying to gauge which former actors would come.
Yeah.
So they sent out an invite to like a ton of former Rangers, and then when like all of them said that we'll come, they rescinded like a bunch of the invites, and so they didn't expect the response. Really, is what went down.
Which is cool. They got a great response, but it all comes down to with filming, it's money and who's bring over. It's literally all that's filming.
I mean, like for Ninja Steel, they initially were going to bring back, like, at least the way I understood it, Dino Charge is going to have like its own team up with Ninja Steel, and then there's going to be a separate episode of the anniversary where we were also going to have some of us in, and then none of that happened. Only Yoshi came back. So it's like they try to get things going, and then they tell you, and then it doesn't happen. Then you're
I talked to a few people from from Dino Charge about that, like how everyone got the invite, and then.
Just kidding. Hey, Yoshi, you want to come?
It's really it sucks because you're getting like all this excitement and then you get taken away from you. But that's just kind of how it works. That's how casting works. Like, hey, here's your invitation, but now we have to figure out what we can do, and that's life. But anyway, we loved our experience. Me and Cameron loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's Hollywood in general. It's nothing against Rangers specifically. Like things come together, happens. Things fall apart.
It's filmmaking. Budgets are budgets.
Yeah.
True.
Right on.
But now we can Kickstarter things. So like, let's Kickstarter have all of us come back, right?
I like the idea of JDF standing on a balcony yelling at some kids, "Hey jerks."
Well, he threw a frisbee or a football or something at us too. He was like, hey losers, what's up, dude? And then like threw something at us.
He's one giant kid, and it cracks me every time I'm around him. He's just one giant. Like I feel like sometimes I'm his mother. I'm like, We gotta calm down for a moment.
Well, it's kind of great.
Let's get a glass of water.
Yeah, you're kind of all part of this almost 30-year-old brotherhood and sisterhood of the traveling pants of Power
traveling
Rangers.
Spandex.
Yeah, I was going to say the traveling tights.
Sisterhood of the traveling spandex.
I mean, I thought we both had the same robes at one point. I really feel like I've seen the same robes in so many photos from castmates, like the yellow robe, the red one.
Oh my gosh!
It just has your name on it with tape, and then they take it off and pass it to the next season.
My robe was enormous. It did not. It was like an extra.
Oh yeah,
it was.
You're purple.
All sat down on those same couches.
Yeah, like which actor from your seasons wore my black puffer jacket, like to keep you warm?
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh my god, so many
so many nuts
water bottles,
snacks have been in those pockets.
True.
Hey Kim,
so
do you want a brolly? Do you want a brolly, Kim? Where's your puppy?
Stop.
Where's your puffy, Kim?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It is. I think I have permanent damage in my feet from them being so cold all the time.
Oh my gosh.
I was in heels the whole time, you know?
That's true. Miss Morgan had it rough.
Because you're a doctor.
Because you wear heels in labs, like that's normal. But
yeah.
Here's a fun question. I'm going to pose this to Brennan. We all know that Boom Studios publishes the Power Ranger comics, which have done their own crossovers. Now, if you could have, and I'll throw this out to a couple more as well, if you could have a Boom comic of Power Rangers published about your character taking place after the series, what kind of story would you want to be told? Brennan.
Well, some kind of time travel element, like we kind of just like, hey guys, the finale, we can time travel in our season. And I feel like that should be explored more. Maybe we meet up with Time Force or something against some other time traveling kind of bad guys, or maybe like we team up with ourselves in the past. So then there's 20 Dino Charge Rangers. That'd be cool. So something along those lines. Or going to the future.
Time Force is part of the Power Rangers canon. So
well, teaming up with them would be cool because they time travel and then we time travel.
Right. So using their powers to do a little time traveling. We'll team up, little time travel.
Something along those lines. That's what I mean. Like, since we both time travel. I don't think Cameron's seen our season finale.
Claire, how about you?
No, I haven't. Sorry.
We time travel too.
Dinosaurs come back.
Sorry. Spoiler.
We have
spoiler alert.
Dinosaurs in, it's not a museum anymore. It's a zoo. That's the whole thing in our. Sorry, did you ask?
Are they rescued animals? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, Claire, same question. If there could be a comic book about your character after your season ends, what kind of story would you want to tell?
You know, I feel like we didn't get a lot about Kendal's life at all. She was just sort of like, follow the rules. I've created this Dino Charger, activated, must use all 5 of you, etc.
Must use all 5 of you.
I'd like to see her out in the world more, fighting a lot more. More fights for Kendal. That's what I want. Yeah, I mean, I'd also just like to explore what it would look like to have a dinosaur zoo. You know, it turns into an actual zoo rather than a museum, so it'd be cool to see.
I would love that so much because Jurassic Park is like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I would love this shit.
Yeah, so just
talking mushrooms.
Take a look
there
at
you go. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, do we need Zords if we have dinosaurs? Do they are the dinosaurs jealous of the Zords? Is there a weird rivalry there? Like, what's the deal? You know?
Like, can we communicate with our dinosaurs? Like, do T-Rexes listen to me?
Is it harmonious? Is it copacetic? Like, I don't know. We got to figure it out.
Our Beast Morphers would love the zoo. They'd probably find their friends.
There we go.
That is the most close thing to say. Like, that's what's gonna happen. It's Nicole.
Real quick, guys, we did have another what's it called? Super question. What's the one? Somebody they pay to have like a super question pop up.
It's a super chat.
So,
super
chat. That's what it is.
Yeah, somebody paid $10 to ask a question.
There you go.
I better answer it.
Voluntarily. Daniel Henning says his 5-year-old daughter is a super fan of Power Rangers and was wondering if she could get a shout out. Her name is Ciara.
Sarah.
Hi,
Sarah.
Sarah. Thank you so
Hello,
much for watching the
Sarah.
shows. I don't know which one you watch, but thank you for watching Power Rangers in general.
Sarah.
Woo! Hey, Sarah.
For joining us here today. Hello.
Yeah.
Where are they
This
from?
is like
Do we know where
past
they're
my
from?
bedtime, by the way. I'm so tired.
Ryan, do we know where Sarah's from?
We do not know where Sarah's from, but she's a massive fan, and apparently she's gonna freak out the fact that you guys just gave her a shout out. So you must be
Yes,
Sarah.
Sarah.
We love you, Sarah.
Yes.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, that is the voice of God, Ryan, our producer on the show tonight.
Yes, this is the voice. Yeah, guys, so awesome. So many people in the chat just throwing out all these amazing questions. They're all thrilled that you're here. We actually just had one from a 4-4 stream. Were any of you able to watch Super Sentai counterpart seasons to prepare for filming? Super Sentai counterpart seasons to prepare for your filming, and if so, how much were you able to watch?
All of it.
With our season, they gave us the footage because we took 2 seasons and mashed them together. So we kind of had to look at the super. Is it Ghost? Cameron, do you remember the name of ours?
Ghost Sager.
Ghost Sager, and then like
Go Kaiger and Go Kaiger and Go Sager, I think. Go Kaiger.
Plug that in. So they literally, you have to take. We had 2 different characters we had to transition to, but try to make them the same person. So they did give us the DVDs to watch at our place. We didn't have to, but they gave us voluntarily. Like my character didn't change much, but I know Azim's changed a lot.
Oh yeah.
John's changed a lot. I think Drew got taller or shorter. I forgot which one.
So when I got to New Zealand, I shot my first episode, and I'm like this like tough kid from the mines on my home planet who I work in a friggin' mine, and I'm whatever. I shoot my first week, and then Azim decides to go, "Hey bud, by the way, here's a DVD of your Japanese counterpart." And my Japanese counterpart, Guy is his name, I think, Gai, is like the exact opposite of that. I would say very feminine, very flamboyant, and not at all like Orion. Like Orion is like this tough kid who's tough and ready to rumble, and Guy is very super fan and very flamboyant and out there and everything. And I just remember John, Azim, and Drew watching me watch Guy's footage going, what? And just totally confused of why, how did they make me into this character? It was the weirdest thing.
I got to watch Go Busters in the Barclay. Did anybody else stay in the Barclay? Did you guys stay at the Barclay?
Yeah, the hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I watched Go Busters, and so the coolest thing about Go Busters was that they had every episode, their intro was a dance. All the Power Rangers would morph and dance. And I tried so hard to get us to do that. I was like, can we please have a Beast Morphers dance? I will choreograph it. And I was like, we could just remix it, because it was Go Busters. Da 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 da.
Imagine all the monsters staring at you.
I learned the whole thing. I was doing it all the time. I was like, that was my pitch. I'd go up to people and I'd just start doing the dance. And I was like, how about we do a Beast Morphers one? That's fine.
They actually let me do one morph that was like my Japanese counterpart.
Yes.
If you look up
yesterday.
It was the one where I spin around like this.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't want to do this, but I do, because there's GIFs on the internet of this guy doing these morphs. And when he does them in the Japanese one, he does a full 360 twirl, a pirouette, if you will, and then pulls his arms out, and then confetti comes out.
That's cool.
Not sparks, okay? Not sparks, not flames, not your Power Ranger stuff. Confetti.
Amazing.
It's
That's lit.
okay, I have to do this. I have to do this.
Yes.
Yeah. And it made the cut. It was in there.
Did they give you confetti?
No, they didn't do confetti, but they let me do the twirl
Yes.
with the thing.
So long story short, we did watch some of our footage. Yeah.
It's quarantine stories. We're allowed to go a little longer, okay?
we do have another question. I'm going to kind of go rapid fire down the list with you guys. Brennan, what's your most memorable episode that you filmed?
Pressure. I really liked our season 1 finale when we were on Sludge's ship. And is that the one you became purple, right, Claire?
Yes.
Yeah, that one was one of my favorites. It was just so cool. Like we were like on the ship and like got to like be on the set, which normally is always second unit, which was like the stunt team, because like it's normally just Sledge and the bad guys, which are all the stunt people in suits, you know. And so being on it and not being morphed and being able to run around without like powers was really cool. So that was probably one of my favorites.
Claire, most memorable episode to shoot?
Well, that's the one. I mean, God, I got
Right,
to do the coolest stuff in that episode. We got to be on, like, we didn't get to really go on that soundstage very often because it was, you know, second unit stuff. It was all suited things. So it was really, really sweet to be on it. Had to wear a hazmat suit the whole time, which was kind of wild, but
blossoming memory again.
Yeah, it was great, you know. It was the best episode.
Jax, how about you? Most memorable episode to film, unless it hasn't aired yet and you can't say anything.
Yeah,
hands down the Halloween episode. There is one that's coming out that I'm so excited for, but hands down Halloween episode was my absolute favorite.
How about you, Abram?
My absolute favorite one hasn't aired yet, but other than that, it's probably yeah, and I know I'm pretty sure that's yours too. Yeah, the ones that we filmed with Megan, she was like recurring. She'd hear on 2 episodes, and I love filming that just because of like our drama and how I got to play my character during those episodes. But yeah, the Megan episodes.
Ciara, how about you?
I was afraid you were going to ask me. I've been trying to think this entire time.
You had so much time.
Your answers. I have too many, but the one that like, keeps sticking in my head is like 2 different ones. I'm going to try to say it really fast. One we were trying to morph all together, and we had fire explosions. It was second unit, and the fire explosion went towards it's on slow motion somewhere. We were filming in slow motion. It got knocked over towards me and exploded towards me only. So we're like, who was that? And then all you see me in slow motion, freaking out, and the fire went through my pants and gave me a burn on my leg. That was one. My other one, I forgot which episode it was. The second one is our opening scene, actually in our opening theme for a second. I think it was the second season for Super Megaforce. We're running down the beach, like wah! I find it so memorable because we're all yelling at each other the entire time because me and Christina couldn't keep up running on Bethel's Beach. Because we all had boots on and water and sand was filling up, and the boys would keep up with us. We're trying. We're all yelling at each other the entire time on the beach. But anyway, I find humorous moments most memorable. So those are mine.
Cameron, how about you?
I don't remember what episode it was, but I think it was when John and I had one of our only civilian fights in the forest somewhere, and it was really muddy that day. And Azim was there, and he took the civilian fights very seriously because he trained like very hard for it, and you know you can't really blame him. But he slipped like so hard in the mud and had to get hosed off.
He did it multiple times, didn't he?
So he slipped once, got hosed off, and was like, all right, let's change. Got into his second clean outfit, did it again, slipped again, had to hose off again, and had to do the scene in fully wet clothes. And I just remember me and John walking by him and being like, oh man, that sucks. And he was just so angry, and he just was like, shut up guys. And we were I felt really bad. I didn't want to laugh, but it was one of those moments where you just are like, oh, it's so funny.
Was that the same day that was it Julia dropped John's phone in the porta potty? Was it the same?
Jules, one of our drivers, Jules, went to the bathroom with like she used to like confiscate our phones kind of, which was weird, but you know, because we're children, I guess.
You play teams, you must be a team.
Yeah, she kind of anyways, she had John's phone in like her pants pocket or something, and she went to a porta potty.
I felt so
and pulled her pants down. And as she pulled her pants down to go to the bathroom, John's phone went into the porta potty.
Oh my gosh!
His iPhone.
It was a glorious saga of getting.
So bad. She felt so bad. She's like,
it was. We feel bad for her, but
did you get it back though?
yeah. And they cleaned it and they like handed it to him in a plastic bag. They were like, "We found your phone."
So
Here it is.
to break in again and corral you Rangers back up, Linnell says that her 4-year-old sisters, Lexi and Leanne, have watched all of y'all's shows and love all of y'all. Two y'all
Hey, love y'all.
We love
Y'all
you.
too.
Is there any chance they could get a shout out?
What are the
What?
names again?
Yeah, what are the names?
Lexi and Leanne.
Hello,
Hello,
Lexi and
Leanne.
Lexi.
Hello, Lexi
Leanne.
and
You are more phenomenal,
Yeah.
Lexi
Woo.
and
Leanne.
Who else?
You guys had mentioned whoa, I just hit my camera. Now I'm shaking all around. You guys had mentioned that you had some days when you were in costume, and we know that they use a lot of footage from Japanese Super Sentai shows that sometimes they make it specifically for the Power Rangers show. Sometimes it's used from existing episodes. How much time did you guys spend in the actual Power Rangers costumes? Let's start with the newest Rangers. Jax, do you want to take off on that question?
Honestly, I think I wore it, I think maybe 3 times.
yeah,
Like,
same. We
there
were
was-
really only in it for like maybe 3 days of filming.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
we
very
never
random.
wore it.
It's our turn, Cameron.
It was like the days that we wore it for the whole day pretty much. But I
Yeah.
mean, like one time I remember we were in like the dungeon because we were in the other dimension and it was so hot. Like
Yep.
because it was actual we were wearing leather. So we were like the only ones that didn't have the spandex. And so like you really had to pull that on and there
It was so
don't drink any
tough,
water.
too. Yeah, like you could not move around in it, and we didn't even do any like actual moving. We just had to like stand and act. So like the stunties wearing that and like fighting in it, like I just can't even imagine how they did that.
They're amazing.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
basically
there
when
was
they
that thing where you walked, and it was like,
Yeah, the boots
They
were so
transitioned
stiff, the
from
whole thing.
Saban to Hasbro, and Hasbro's like, we're not doing any of this spandex. Get them leather. Our Power Rangers wear leather.
yeah, not very practical, but they looked cool.
Yeah.
There you go. How about Brennan and Claire?
Once,
we
I
were-
think.
I mean, I wore mine a little more than you guys because I had the one helmetless episode.
Me and
But,
Kim
Yeah.
were rot.
I had this scene like
Sorry,
with
yeah. We didn't wear ours very often. But I mean, yeah, same thing. I would see the stunties wearing that all the time, and more so than the Ranger suits, the monster suits. Like I remember being on second
Oh my
unit
gosh, yeah.
and looking on to a fight with the head of the monsters department. And I was like, how did they do it? And he goes, every time I pull one out at the end of the day, he's just a little bit paler and skinnier than he was when I put him in.
Just give me that one.
Terrifying. But
Yeah,
I
I
worked
think-
like maybe twice, 3 times. I don't know.
Same, like for our promo shots, and then the other time was when I did like the episode with my dad when like we go travel around and we're both in our suits. I think I've worn my suit more at conventions, honestly, than I did on the show. So
All right. Ryan, how are we doing on time for our digital panel tonight?
Oh my gosh, the time is now because everyone in the chat is loving you still. We're doing pretty well. We're winding down. We only got a few minutes left, so we can get to some final cues for the panel, Ben.
All right. So here's something that I want to present to the group. Obviously, we're all at home coming in on Zoom. The conventions are canceled, and we might not see the floor of a convention center until late this year, maybe not even until 2021. We'll see how everything folds out. But thinking back on the conventions that you guys have been to, as Brennan actually just brought up, I think, what are some memorable experiences you guys have had with fans at comic book conventions. Let's start from the other end. Let's start with the Super Megaforce Rangers. Cameron, Ciara, you guys want to tackle that one first?
Memorable experiences with fans at conventions?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think overall, the most sort of redeeming quality about being a Power Ranger is the effect that you have on some of these people. They're not always just children either. Like I think my second or third fan interaction was this kid who was probably like 19 or something like that, and he came up to me and he reached out his hand. He was just very earnest, and he was like, "Hey man, just wanted to say thanks. You really helped me get through some tough times, like in college, like during my finals, and your season was like really fun to watch and really helped me escape." And I was just like, I had no idea that we had the reach that we did, you know. Like I thought we were just for kids or older people who were fans of Power Rangers when they were kids, right? I didn't think that we had people in our generation who were fans or who could be affected by our show. So that meant a lot. And then I was opened up to a whole new world of fans that were actually legitimately affected by us.
I'm gonna ditto Cameron on that. Like that literally whenever I got on a convention or anything, like I am so opened up to every different realm of like literally goes from like a 3-year-old to a 30-something-year-old. Like there's such a big range for Power Rangers. I have a lot of favorite moments. I can't pick one at all. But one that sticks out to me because Cameron's here is when we went to Florida for Make-A-Wish, and we had a wonderful girl there, and she was in love with Cameron. It was so obvious. She just had the biggest crush on Cameron, but it was such a special moment, I think, for our entire cast to be there. And one of those are the moments that literally they'll change your entire life just by being in those moments. And she, her whole life was changed by watching Power Rangers, and her health was going downhill, and she was watching Power Rangers and getting up and like doing the fights to like the TV and everything. And she lost some weight and got healthy and was eating. Like she had so much motivation, and her love for Power Rangers gave her life. And that was just such a special moment we all had together. And I will never forget that ever.
That's great. How about, wait, can you guys hear me? Sorry, I'm switching out. I'm switching over to the chat and then coming back in. Claire, any great memorable moments at conventions?
Tons. So many. But the one that stands out to me the most is a young girl. I think she was about 7, maybe even younger, came up to our table, and she said she was wearing glasses. And she said, "I just want to let you know that I'm going to be a scientist. And everyone always told me when I was little that only boys could be scientists. But Miss Morgan showed me that girls are smart too." And I cried instantly, obviously. But it was really, really special. And her parents were there and, you know, like beaming. And I don't know. It's you just, I don't know, not to reiterate every single thing that Cameron already said, but you just don't realize that it actually can affect people. You know, you're on set and you're saying things that you feel like everyone's heard a million times, but it reaches somebody, it resonates with somebody, the way that a character is written or just the way that it's said one time, or I don't know, there's something special about the show. And it was really, really, really cool to see this little tiny girl say that she was going to be a scientist just because she saw it on TV. And I don't know, I'm taking too long to answer this question now. But.
Brennan.
Yeah, again, not wanting to take too much time, but I do a lot of like fitness stuff on my Instagram, and I've had a lot of people come up to me at conventions and telling me their weight loss stories, like some losing over 100 pounds from like following my fit tips, and just like the fact that like something I record for like 20 seconds in a day can impact someone's life that much because they watched me from Power Rangers. And then even again, looking at different age groups, like this married couple came to me at a con and they told me they started watching Rangers with their kid, and then they saw an interview of me because they were having, I guess, some like struggles in their marriage. And then I said something in an interview where I said love is a commitment, not just a feeling. And that resonated with them to the point where like their marriage went from on the rocks. Like they wrote me a letter and sent it, like gave it to me at a convention, and like their marriage turned around because of that like little thing I said in some interview somewhere. And just like, that's incredible. And not only like do the kids like it, but then like sometimes the parents get impacted in ways that you would never even know from something you said. So it's just, the reach.
Wow.
Jax.
Well, we have actually not been to any cons because we've only been to Morphicon. So I haven't had any interactions with fans face to face just yet. But I mean, the fan interaction I've had has just all been on DMs and just comments and stuff on my Instagram. And since the day we were revealed, it was just mind blowing as to how just welcoming and warm and positive everybody is in like the Ranger Nation. I mean, it really is such a family. And even just going on my lives and stuff, I always have the same, group of people always there, and everybody's always, encouraging, and it's just so much love, and everybody loves to just share what they're going through and just connect. And the other night I was even like collaborating with them, that we started, having all these ideas, and it was just such a great community to be a part of. So I'm so excited when we get to actually go to Comic-Cons and all those sort of cons and stuff.
We did actually get to go, remember, Jax, to the Ronald McDonald House in New Zealand while we were filming. So that was like a little, I mean, we haven't done cons, but like that was like our first interaction with like kids and stuff. And we got to go dressed up in our wardrobe and surprise them. And that was amazing just to see how happy we can make them. It's like a little crazy to, I don't know, have the ability to do that, but it makes you feel so good. And same thing like you said on social media, all like the messages and stuff, it's insane. But yeah,
I do have a couple of shout outs here. Caleb Bandit made a shout out. He said, besides me, which character do you most despise? We don't have to answer that because we are running out of time, but we felt like we need to get him in there and give a shout out. Also to Cameron and Ciara. Pearl Lydia Martin says, Megaforce Defense Squad says, hi, we love you and we miss you.
Yo! We love them. They come to like all of the shows. They come to like almost every convention.
Everything.
Wow.
Love you.
That's awesome.
We love you the most.
We also had a really quick question from somebody named Wee Knight, I believe. Ciara, Gia is a big character in Battle for the Grid. Did they approach you to do the voice for the character? I believe that's the video game that's coming out. Did they approach you to do the voice of the character, and have you seen how badass they made you?
So I know I'm very much prominent in the game. They've asked me to go, Inway's asked me to come. I went to the thing in Orlando to help do the game, and they've talked to me thus far, but I don't voice the game, unfortunately, but it's probably because I mumble a lot. But I definitely, they made Gia so cool. Like, Gia's the awesome. I definitely have played it. They gave me like the little codes for the games and everything. I play it on anything I can. So I don't know. She's pretty cool, and I'm.
Yeah, you at least deserve the codes to play a video game of your own character, right?
I mean, if you're gonna play the game, play Gia. She'll kick some booty.
All right. It looks like we're starting to come to the end of our time here. I do want to go around and thank each and every one of you guys for coming in. For those of you who are in the chat, remember to like the video so it pumps it up and makes it more prominent. This will also be airing in conjunction with WonderCon. And I'm so sorry to all of you in the chat. You've all been very active. I'm looking at it at my computer screen right here. And
it's like 300 people.
Asking, yeah, there's like literally 300 people in the chat right now. You guys have been typing, talking, being active. Brennan's on there right now talking to people.
Multitasker.
There you go. But thank you all so much for watching. And Power Rangers, thank you so much for being here. Where can we find you all on social media? Ciara, where can we find you?
Ciara Hanna, Ciara Hanna 20. Ciara Hanna 20. Is
that on all social media?
That's on everything, yeah.
All right. How about you, Cameron?
All of the things are under @Cameron Jebo, CameronJebo. And I have a question that I have to answer for somebody in the chat. His name's Disarray. His name's Disarray. And he said, thanks for taking my question. Big fan. This is for all the Rangers. Who was your favorite villain across all seasons, and why is it Goldar?
Goldar is pretty awesome.
Gonna be Lord Zed for me. Okay, bye.
Yeah. I like Ivan Ooze.
I like
Ivan
Commander
Ooze.
season. Commander was pretty sketchy.
Scrozzle.
You can. You definitely can.
I like Heckle and Snide from our season because I love Brian Carter and he's a fantastic actor.
I was just gonna say, I was just gonna randomly throw
so
out.
I'm like,
I
can't villainize him.
Oh, you're so nice. You're so nice, Brendan.
I was gonna say Heckle because we've had him on the show, and Ryan's a delight.
Yeah,
He's the best.
I think that's why he's the best villain, is because in real life he's the most wonderful person you'll ever meet, and then somehow you get him on screen and he just gets a little nasty.
He's cool.
Claire, where can we find you on social media?
On Instagram, I am Clay Blackwelder, CLAI, black with the color, welder like the occupation. And then I'm sorry, I have to say. It's just that's what I say. And then I technically have a Twitter, but I don't use it, so don't bother. And then Facebook, I'm just Claire Blackwelder. That's it.
All right, Brennan, how about you? Where can we find you on social media?
At Brennan Mejia on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook is Brennan Mejia, Facebook official, and then YouTube is just type Brennan Mejia.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Jax, where can we find you on social media?
Instagram is my most active. It is Jacquelyn Sosnowski. JACQUELINESSCISLOWSKI. There's only one. And then my Twitter, which I barely use, but I try to be more active, is just J Scislowski or J Sislow without the ski. That was easier to find. And that's it. I don't use my Facebook. Don't try to follow me on Facebook. But
if you're trying to find Jacqueline, just start typing consonants and you'll get there eventually.
Just start typing things that sound like Jacqueline and you'll find it.
And Abraham, how about you? Where do we find you on social?
My Instagram is at abraham.rod and my Twitter is _AbrahamRod. And that's all I use.
A-Rod. All right. All right, I want to try this one more time for everybody watching online. I'm going to count to 3 if we can get It's Morphin Time. We're going to try this one more time. All right, guys?
Yes.
All right.
I have to be quiet, though, because people are sleeping at my place.
Or 1, 2, 3.
As in my wife, just one person.
Count. Do it.
Wait,
I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and then you say it's Morphin Time.
Got it.
So,
all right.
Cool. Ready? Any questions?
No.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
It's Morphin
time. Yeah.
Lovely.
That was way better.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight for our digital WonderCon panel. I am Ben Kleiwer from The Con Guy, and you've been watching this on the Popcorn Talk Network. Yeah, the Popcorn Talk Network. And you can find me on all social media at Ben Kleiwer. That's BenKleiwer. And you know, everybody always asks me, Ben, why are you drinking out of that red cup? Well, it's because whenever Ben Kleiwer shows up, it's always a party. Thank you so much. Everybody wave good night. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.